today's project. Didn't quite know what to call it, so that's why it's called Flower Girl. My challenge for you guys, what would you call this video? Anyway, I saw these molds and I thought, yeah, I could do something with that. When you get them though, they are extremely flimsy. And on this one of the little support bars on the bottom that's made of silicone that's supposed to help it stand up was sort of twisted, so the whole thing was a bit wobbly. And I thought, yeah, I can just see me filling those up with resin and the whole lot goes on the deck. So I put some sticky tape on the bottom and I thought, well, I'll stick them down, at least that way, and that they can't tip over. And if the worst comes to it, if they do, there won't be any spillage. These molds are really nice. One is bigger than the other. One has braids at the back of her hair with flowers in, and the other one has the sort of blindfold with the flowers. I did them white because I thought, you know, like marble, they look like marble. Trying to get in all those little spaces, especially the one who has the flowers at the back of her hair. She's the bigger one. Despite all my digging around and all my bubble hunting, that didn't turn out so well. This, I think that's the one with the flowers as a blindfold, and she's the one I used. I do like these though, they're very nice, and they're all sort of a classic lady bust. So yeah, this is just a little tip so that they don't fall over, because you can see how floppy they are, especially the one on the right. It's very floppy. When I ordered this, I thought it was a jar. So when I unwrapped it, I thought, oh, what's this? And when I went back into Amazon to look at it, oh yeah, okay, it's a little flower holder, little vase type thing. This had a lot of criticism about it being deformed. It likes to go into an oval shape. So what I did initially was I just put 2 layers of tape around the top, and that did help a little bit, but it wasn't enough to pull it in. So this is what I came up with. It took me ages to find something that would work, but I just got myself a couple of mixing cups, stuck the mold in there, left the tape on the top, you know, the tape on the inside on the top, and was hoping that this would keep it in a pretty decent shape, and it did. I also wanted to do this a 2-tone. I wanted the lady to be white because she's white marble. And I recently bought this angel blue, which I love, and I wanted to see what mixing the two would give me. And the higher you pour it, the more of course the blue drops down into the white. Here I'm just checking to see that the weight of the resin didn't bulge out that little bit on the end. If you've seen my videos before, you will know that this is one of my favourite moulds. All the supplies I use, I put them in the descriptions box below the video, so everything is in there. Plus this tray was a good size for the items that I was going to put on it too. All my usual for hunting down they bubbles. Bit of heat gun. I don't know what causes this lovely pattern to happen. Some of the micas, when you put them in the resin and they cure, some of them do this, some of them don't, but I love it when it does that. I love that pattern. And quite often I'm thinking when I'm unmolding something, God, I wish this was the front. But fortunately with this project, look at that, it repeated it on, not only on the front side but all around the edges too. I love that. I love that effect. And I don't know why some do and some don't do it. The experiment putting this mold inside the sellotape seems to have worked. I think if I hadn't done that, it would have come out distorted. I thought this was going to be a challenge because my hands, they get stiff. But then I realised, oh yeah, of course I've got the tape there, haven't I? Ha. So, once I stop hindering myself and actually get my brain in gear and think, I realise I've got to take the tape off. I think that did help, just to give it some structure, to give it some support. But putting it down inside that sellotape holder in the 2 cups, I think that really helped. So there's a tip for you. And that was easier than I thought. And because I left the white wet and I poured the blue in from a height, the blue sort of penetrated down into the white and it made those lovely spots. I love that. I was very pleased with that. That seems to have worked, keeping them stable. Now these, you know, in the past, if you've watched some of my previous videos, some of the molds are an absolute bugger to unmold, and these, oh my goodness, I struggled and struggled and struggled with this, and eventually I handed it to my husband, who was doing the filming, and said, can you do it? My hands just won't. They were cramping up by the time I got this far. So yeah, he managed. He's got bigger hands, stronger hands, and he managed to get it out of the mold. And this is the mold I used, the one with the sort of blindfold that's made of flowers. She's really nice, and I love the hair, so detailed. And despite all my bubble hunting and everything, I did get a couple of bubbles, but they won't really show. So I was very pleased with that. I love these molds. And I say, I did her in the cream white so that she looked like a marble statue. This one was a little bit easier to unmold. It's slightly bigger. I don't know, maybe I just was more brutal with it, but I managed to do it by myself. It still took me a while though, so that's why it's been sped up a bit, because it was still a little bit of a battle. This one also, the flowers at the back, they didn't form properly and they were very sharp, and I managed to cut both my thumbs on the sharp resin. So take care. Yeah, those flowers at the back right there. When you're sort of pushing the mold with your thumbs, be aware that it can be very sharp. But I did manage this one by myself. Eventually. And she's free. Yeah. On the left side is where the flowers are quite sharp, and they didn't really form very well. But the details in them, the details are nice, I must say. Very subtle, very kind of classic looking. I was going to do this for the base, and it had flowers in it. Initially I put down just clear resin, and I waited for about 20 minutes until it got tacky, and then I put my flowers in so that they would stay. And then because I was in such a hurry and I'm an impatient person, I thought, well, the flowers will stay put, won't they? And I poured on the cream white, thinking, yeah, I'll be okay. And I went down to my workspace a little bit later on in the evening, and I saw that all the flowers, yeah, they'd floated, so I knew that wasn't going to work. But I thought you would like to see this interesting thing that happened. Moving on. So I thought I would leave the actual lady looking like white marble and see if I could colour flowers with these acrylic pens that I recently got that I did my owl tattoo with. The yellow, the pinks, the purple, they worked. So I thought, well, why not apply a little bit of UV resin just to see if that helps. And one thing I was pleased with, I let the acrylic pen dry for about 10 minutes, and whilst I was brushing over the UV resin, the paint wasn't coming off. So it really does, once you've got it on there, it really does stick. It doesn't just lift off. And then I did, of course, cure the UV resin. And it did make it shiny, but it wasn't the look I was going for, so I just decided to leave her as she was. I also decided to keep the three elements separate. I didn't glue anything down. And this is what she turned out like. I was really happy. I think she looks classic. So, I shall leave you with my latest offering, and let me know. As I said, I called this Flower Girl because I was my husband and I, we couldn't come up with anything else. So if you've got any other title that you would give it, let me know.